Yo nerds, and welcome back to Nerds with a Feather. I'm Jaden, and in case you didn't hear, last year a little movie called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out. Now, I personally believe that Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best movies ever made, and here in this video I'm going to give you 100 reasons why. This movie, you guys, I almost just want to just eat it, you know? Really consume it, put it into my body, keep it in there for years as my own nutrition. Oh God, what happened? Been foiled by Man of Steel again. Number 1, this box art. Number 2, Spider-Ham, caught in a ham. I haven't seen the mini movie, I assume it's good. Number 3, the entire movie. Number 4, Sony Animation went from making the Emoji Movie to this masterpiece. Number 5, John Mulaney's performance as Spider-Ham is spot on and it cracks me up every single time. Number 6, when Miles Morales wants to go to stop the Collider, but all the other Spider-Men stop him, Spider-Ham actually has a moment of sincerity, which I think is important for all comic relief characters to have. Still a sense of different emotions within their vocabulary. Vocabulary is not the word I was looking for. Sticking with it. Number 7, Penny Parker losing her mech is also a great moment of character development in a character that otherwise is fairly flat. And God, that wasn't meant to be a joke. Number 8, the soundtrack is amazing, either from the original compositions to the songs they chose to include in the movie. All of it is fantastic and fits every scene that is put into. Number 9, the villain designs. Now, a lot of live-action Marvel movies have great villain designs with them, and that's true. But you can't have somebody that looks like Scorpion or Kingpin or Prowler really in a live-action Marvel movie, so it adds a lot more character to them. Number 10, the Doc Ock Twist. I don't think anybody expected Doc Ock to be female and also the scientist that was probing Spider-Man, but it happened and it was great. Number 11, the reference to the Spider-Man dance. I forget which Amazing Spider-Man movie it's in and I feel bad.
It was Spider-Man 3.
Thank you. The dance from Spider-Man 3. Number 12, the in-credit visuals look great. And they're kind of weird, but I kind of appreciate that, so it's good. Number 13, every character having a different distinct visual style really adds to the whole point of the movie of having all the different universes coming together. Number 14, the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube is the best side character in the movie, don't at me.
I'm taking this cube thing with me. I don't understand it, but I will.
Number 15, Aunt May knowing about the shed. Number 16, Aunt May hitting a dude with a baseball bat. Number 17, Aunt May waiting for Miles in the shed when he comes back. Number 18, Aunt May. Number 19, Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen is best waifu. Number 20, Spider Noir. His performance and his character are both really well developed, and I love how he just has the wind flowing behind him, and how he's like, I'm gonna have this match burned to my fingertips until it burns so I can actually feel something in my life. I relate. 21, the fact that every track that revolves around the Prowler has the weird elephant noises. Speaking of Prowler, number 22, the entire reveal scene with the Prowler is really well choreographed and really has a sense of intensity and fear to it. Number 23, I like how Spider-Ham is actually capable of fighting. Usually if the comic relief character, there's in the background, but no, he's able to drop anvils on Scorpion's head and smash him with a hammer. And that's all pretty neat. So I like the cartoon logic applied to his fighting style still. Number 24, the Stan Lee cameo in the costume shop where Miles is buying the Spider-Man costume and then he's like, anybody can be Spider-Man and wear the mask. I know it was a joke with the whole refund things, but it actually makes me cry. So. Number 25, Stan Lee appears in the background of other scenes. 26, Into the Spider-Verse exists, so Venom doesn't have to be Stan Lee's last cameo in a movie. 28, putting in the Stan Lee quote at the end as well is also really impactful and really made me cry in the theater, actually.
Was that not 27?
No, I just said 27, we're now on 28. I know my numbers, Finn. 28, all the different spider suits in the shed. There's the PS4 Spider-Man, there's some classic Spider-Man suits, and all of them look really cool, and I appreciate all the little visual details added to all of them.
You just said 28 again.
No, I was on 20, did I? Whatever, that's 29. 30, I like how Miles spray paints his own suit, because it applies to his character, his whole motivation through the entire movie. I mean, his whole motivation isn't spray painting, but it's one of his passions. And so I like how they still apply that to his hero anyway. 31, the relationship between Miles and Uncle Aaron feels very organic and very real, and I really appreciate the attention and detail that the screenwriters put in to make it feel like they really weren't connected with each other. Number 32, Miles speaking Spanish to his mother. It's a really small detail, but it's the little details really matter in this movie, and I appreciate that little attention to detail with the characters. 33, the thought bubbles are hilarious when Miles is running down the hall and is like, can everybody hear my thoughts? And there's like the yellow boxes everywhere. Appreciate that. This is either 35 or 36. I'm going to go with 35. 35, the fight choreography in the house. Now, all the fight choreography in the movie is incredible, but I really appreciate the house because it's such a cramped space, but they're still able to add so much dimension to everything that's happening. 36, Peter B. Parker's character arc is very endearing, and I really appreciate that in the end he still finds the courage to really talk to Mary Jane and try to fix everything. 37, I don't know why, but I really appreciate that Gwen just flips Miles over her shoulder when his hand gets stuck in her hair. I don't know why I appreciate it, I just do. 38. Hey. Number 39, the ton of different callbacks there are in the final fight. Like the part where... Wow. 40. The shock on Miles' face when he first discovers who the Prowler is something that is pretty easily missable, but the amount of detail going into his eyebrows and his expression and the pure horror of the scene that he's witnessing is very powerful. I mean, this is the man he's been looking up to the entire movie, and also the man who's trying to kill him. So, you know, makes sense. 41. Aaron's death. I feel like the entire handling of it is really powerful. The fact that Aaron had his moment of retribution before he was shot. The fact that Miles is there for his final breath. The fact that then Miles' dad comes in and then sees Aaron. I feel like his reaction to that is very organic and human. And all of it is just handled in a very, very responsible way. Number 42. The relationship between Gwen and Miles throughout the movie feels really organic. It's a very nice shift since Gwen does not want to make friends, of course, but she still is able to find an organic relationship with Miles. 43. I already mentioned villain redesigns, but Dynamax Green Goblin, it looks fantastic, and I love the style that they've taken with him in this movie. Number 44. Tombstone being a henchman of Kingpin is really cool because it's a callback to his origin story, and I don't think that Tombstone is a villain that many people really know about. Myself included. Number 45, the scene where they're swinging away from the Alchemax building is phenomenal, and I love the choreography of Doc Ock and the trees, and I also love how Miles is actually able to learn to swing in that scene. 46, the animation, I've mentioned like styles and stuff before, but the animation is incredibly fluid, which is a great feat, especially since the movie intentionally runs on lower frames at times. Number 47, the first time I saw this movie, I legitimately couldn't tell if it was 2D or 3D animation. That's how good the animation was. Number 48, the movie has a great sense of comedic timing. It has this whole style of subverting expectations whenever you expect it. Like when Miles gets bitten with the spider on his hand, and instead of him going, ah, he just smacks it off. That's hilarious stuff. Number 49, Miles' actions at his new school feel really organic to his character, and they make sense for the context that he's in. He's on to this new school that he really just doesn't want to be at, so of course he's going to attempt to fail. Number 50. This is the best superhero movie ever made. Now, I know that Suicide Squad can be some stiff competition, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably pick Into the Spider-Verse.
I would like the word damaged on my forehead because I'm all messed up, you know?
Damaged?
Yeah, because I'm all messed up.
Sure.
Because I'm all messed up.
Number 51. Kingpin is an absolute unit. I love how his shoulders go like this far above his head. It looks so good for his character. Number 52 is easily the most deserving Oscar win of any movie that I've seen in the last couple of years, so good on it. Number 53, the scene where Spider-Man goes, "Do animals talk in this universe?" cracks me up every single time. It does not fail to get a laugh out of me. Number 54, there's no Uncle Ben story this time. Like, it's mentioned a couple of times by Peter B. Parker and whatever, and I think the original Peter Parker too at some point. But he did die on screen, and that's all that matters to me. I'm sick of that story. Sick of it. Number 55. Kingpin has some really great motivation because it's completely understandable. He's grieving over the family that he's lost, and I think that's something that any of us can relate to, which makes him a good villain because his motive is relatable, but his actions are not. He takes things way further than they should ever go, and that's what I really appreciate about how they characterized him in this movie. Number 56. The visual effects of the Collider, especially in the final fight scene, look fantastic. And I love how the buildings are all coming out of it and how things all glitch, and then eventually it becomes like boba tea with all the orbs that are flying around everywhere. Great stuff. Number 57, the one dude that says that the lamppost looks like Banksy after all the glitching happens to it. That's it. That's the point.
Yeah, I think it's a Banksy.
Number 58, the ads in Times Square, they're all references to real life ads, but they all look different and they're all attuned to the universe, which I appreciate. 59, Scorpion's redesign. I love his legs and I love his tail, and all of it just looks way cooler than he did before. Sorry, Finn, it's fact. Number 60, Spider-Ham being a spider that gets bit by a pig instead of a pig being bit by a spider is fantastic. I just love how weird his character is. 61, I love how anytime she's hacking or she's sneaking around in the dinner room scene, Penny's just chowing down whatever's in her mech, whether it's chips or bubblegum. It adds a lot to her character and makes her a little cuter than she already is. Number 62, the exposition scene where Miles is trying to convince Peter Parker to teach him, but they're walking on the walls is great because cinematography for that scene is amazing. And it should just be a boring exposition scene where he's just like, oh yeah, I call those things goobers, and that's like the end of it. But they're on the walls, so it adds a whole new layer to it. Number 63, Miles' dad is such a well-written character, and it feels like he really does care for Miles, even if he feels like Miles gets into trouble every once in a while. I really appreciate organically written male adult figures in children's lives when they're in animation, because it can be really easy just turn to the, oh, they're the fat slob on the couch kind of thing. And so Miles' dad actually being a full character is something I appreciate. Number 64, I appreciate also how Miles' dad, he at the beginning doesn't care for Spider-Man at all because, you know, he's a rogue hero. He does whatever he wants. But then by the end, he understands that he's still going to have to negotiate with Spider-Man and really work with him despite their differences in how they believe things should be done. Which is also really important, of course, since, you know, Miles is Spider-Man now, so it's probably a little bit helpful. Number 65, Peter B trying to seduce Doc Ock is so funny, especially because he is, okay, well I won't say he's not hot, he's like a weird dad hot, you know? He's not like hot, but he's not hot. 66, this is a very small detail, but I appreciate how Doc Ock, she looks at the Spider-Man characters as if they're specimens, which I think is interesting because Doc Ock doesn't look at them like people, which makes sense since she's just interested in experimenting on them. 67, the character oh, whoa. Number 67, the character introductions being in the form of comic books adds a whole new visual style to the story, and I appreciate it because it's very short and compact. You don't need like 5 minutes to learn the history of Spider Noir. He just like, yeah, here I am, here's some frames of me doing stuff. Number 68, I like how Chris Pine voices the original Peter Parker. Because A, he does a good job. But B, who else is going to play a blonde superhero in a Marvel movie? Just saying. 69, this movie is nice. Number 70, I like the visual effects that are done on the logos in the opening. Like the Columbia Pictures, there's a Statue of Liberty, right? Number 71, I love all the small details of the animation. I already mentioned that, but stuff like Miles even when he's invisible being visible in what? But stuff like Miles' reflection being in Doc Ock's glasses in the final fight scene, or when he throws the bagel over his shoulder and it hits the employee for the Alchemax building. I appreciate small little flares like that because especially when you rewatch it, it gives you more to look for. 72, the bagel. I lied earlier, I believe that the bagel is the best supporting character in this movie. Number 73, the entirety of Peter B. Parker's backstory part is hilarious and tragic, but my favorite part by far is when he's watching the Seahorse documentary, and then he's like, did you know that seahorses stay with their mates for life? Imagine that. No, it just adds a little more to his story, both in terms of humor and pure sadness. Number 74, the entire scene where Miles jumps off the building and then, you know, has to sling onto the building to, like, stay alive. But it's a really cool turning point in the movie, and it really shows how far Miles has come. And also, the visual effects are terrific, especially when the glass shatters behind him. Love it. 75, the best shot in the entire movie is when Miles is falling towards the city, but then it flips, so it looks like he's falling up, which I guess is floating, you could call that. but I believe that's the best shot in the movie. It is so gorgeous to look at. Number 76. I wish I was the spider that Miles smacked. Number 77. People directed this movie. Number 78. People watched this movie. Number 79. Vulture is the best villain in this movie. Number 80. Tom Holland is really hot. Number 81. I love the car scene because over time it's like the Vulture slowly figures out who Spider-Man
Wrong
is.
movie!
What?
You've been talking about Homecoming!
Oh. Number 82. Peter Porker eating the hot dogs. It's morally ambiguous on whether this is a good thing for him to do or not, and I appreciate that. Number 83. Peter B. Parker would probably chase Shocker to the ends of the earth. Number 84. I could be Spider-Man. I can't be Spider-Man. Number 86. I can't wait for the Spider-Verse DLC to come to Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 87. I love the Spider-Man card game. Number 88. It's shorter than Endgame, so I don't have to worry about buying a piss bucket. Number 89. It handles its characters better than Endgame. Yeah, I said it. Oh! Why are you booing me? I'm right! Number 90. This movie made me cry even when we watched it this morning. I could probably think about it right now and get a tear on my face. Watch. Number 91. Spider-Ham says trans rights. Number 92. Spider Noir says human rights. Number 93. Penny Parker says weeb rights. Number 94. Are webs an innuendo? God, I hope not. Number 95. I'm running out of ideas. What? Number 96. The night Gwen Stacy died. Number 97. Did I mention that this movie is actually really good? Number 98. This disc could probably survive an atomic bomb. Dang it, it's still Man of Steel! 99. I didn't hate the audience in the movie theater when I saw it. Number 100. And the best point of all. The after credits scene. No, I'm Spider. Oh god, how did it go? Thank you for watching today's video on completely legitimate reasons for why Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best movies ever made. If you'd like to see more content from us, make sure to subscribe down below. And like every good Samaritan YouTuber will tell you to do, make sure to comment and like. In the meantime, this is Jaden, signing out. Number 101. Gwen Stacy could totally squeeze me between her